Tonight, we begin our coverage of this year's NBA playoffs. Starting tonight, the NBA play-in tournament gets underway. Who will claim the final two seeds in both the Eastern Conference and the Western Conference? From the opening round all the way to when a champion is crowned in the NBA Finals, our nation's sports show has you covered all postseason long. The drama, the pressure, the intensity will ramp up as the playoffs go deeper in each round. Also tonight, we bring to you the latest breaking news in the NFL, Major League Baseball, and we also recap UFC 300 from this past Saturday. It's showtime.
Good up to the court, talking all that is sport, breaking down the latest news, scores, and more. Welcome to our Nation Sports Show.
All right, here we go. Once again, it is a Tuesday. You know what that means? Well, you probably do. I don't, but no, I'm kidding. We know what it means. It is sports talk for the sports fans and the wrestling fans alike. It is our nation's sports show. You wanted the best, you got the best. What's going on? I'm Mr. Vickery here. We thank you guys for joining us as always. It is going to be a great show today. We got a lot to talk about. The WNBA draft concluded last night. We'll give our thoughts on that. We'll give our thoughts, of course, on the NBA play-in tournament starting tonight. Playoff basketball begins in just a few minutes. And also, of course, we'll give our thoughts on the NFL draft coming up as well. Also, of course, UFC 300, as I said in the intro, baseball news, and whatever else we can get into over the next 1 hour and a half to 2 hours. And, of course, let's get into first, of course, the ways you can interact with us. And, of course, that's at Owen_Sports Show on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it, Facebook.com/Our Nation Sports Show, Instagram.com/Our Nation Sports Show, and YouTube.com/Our Nation Sports Show. Don't forget to follow, of course, the Nation's Corner at the Nation's Corner on the YouTube Nation's Corner across most of their socials. Their show's 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific time, same time as this show, only on Saturdays. And joining the crew, of course, every Saturday for all things pro wrestling. And after this Monday and this weekend, with Windy City Riot, with all the sorts going on, all the different stuff coming up, especially this weekend, it's going to be a very, very interesting show. Especially with Dynasty coming up and multiple shows on the Independents doing shows for 420. So definitely check that out, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific on Saturdays. Also, don't forget to follow at 2 Sweet Cosplay across all socials. We will be at C2E2 May 26th through the 28th, or April 26th through 28th, live at McCormick Place in Chicago, Illinois. We will have our fan booth, which is bigger, badder than ever before. Bigger space. Thank you to Repop for that. Also, don't forget to check out our panel, too, 2:45 to 3:45. If you're in the Chicago area and you're listening to this, it's 2:45 to 3:45 p.m. on Saturday. S503B is the room number. And right afterwards will be our photo shoot. Also, don't forget to check out all the other wrestling panels. There's going to be a Jackbox game panel by the local company Freelance Wrestling, which, of course, one of the head trainers there is Mustafa Ali. Don't forget to don't forget to check out Rikishi's hip hop wrestling inspired panel, which will take place. Also, people to be there include MJF, Samoa Joe, Sting, Chavo Guerrero, and then Brody King, Danhausen, Julia Hart, Sky Blue, Kyle Fletcher, just to name a few. And so follow us there at 2 Sweet Cosplay for more info and all the stuff coming up that we have later on in the summer. Now that we got that out of the way, let's go ahead and get everybody introduced here. And that is, of course, we start off with the man whose internet has more issues than the Chicago Bears drafting Caleb Williams. It is Joey JT Thornton. What's going on, dude?
What's up, everybody? Hope everybody's having an amazing Tuesday. And yes, I could definitely attest to that with all the bullshit that we talk about in this show. For once, we're actually making some sense. Yeah, my internet sucks. I've been saying this to my wife for such a long time now, but she refuses to listen. So I'll find some way to get it out of her. But anyways, we are here. We are here to talk some sports. Some NBA playoff action is going to be starting up tonight. MLB baseball is in full swing. NFL draft is going to be starting next Thursday night and going into the weekend, or more specifically Saturday. So, without further ado, let's go.
Absolutely. And we got a lot to get into, and of course, we can't do it without my heavy metal brother, from North Kakalaki himself. Without him, this show wouldn't be possible. He is the heavy metal guru from North Carolina. When it comes to this man, he can play his songs no matter where he goes. He's not the Guess Who. He's not Burt Cummings. He is Big Stevie Wyand. What's going on, man?
Yeah, I'm not gonna be like that guy and trying to ruin my royalty checks and all that type of stuff. And no, there's no sugar tonight, but what there is coverage of the world of sports, and it's gonna be a lot of fun. I mean, the NFL draft is happening next week, and
Bravo, sir.
folks.
Bravo with the reference.
Yes, and we're not doing a watch along. No, sorry, we're not doing a 5.5 hour marathon. That's not happening. No. So, yeah, we're not doing that. But what we are doing here tonight is recapping, a wild weekend in sports and obviously previewing the NBA draft, not NBA draft, the NFL draft for next week, and previewing the NBA playoffs and the tournament. The play-in tournament starts tonight. And obviously the WNBA draft was last night, and one Caitlin Clark, as not surprised, was picked by Indiana. So with that being said, let's do this.
Oh yeah, we got a lot to get into, ladies and gentlemen. It's gonna be a long show. Not really a long show, but it's gonna be a great show. Let's see. Let's start. There's a lot to get into. Before we begin, obviously we are a sports show, but we also love wrestling too, and we like to send our best to the now former WWE Women's World Champion Rhea Ripley. I'm sure it'll be talked about on Saturday's show with our crew, our guys and gal. Rhea Ripley unfortunately suffered an injury during a backstage segment with Liv Morgan that was completely unplanned. And she also, of course, is dealing with the injury to her hand and her wrist that she's been dealing with for a few months now. Unfortunately, she's going to be out for several months now, and she had to vacate the WWE Women's World title. And so she had to fortunately relinquished the belt, and now she's going to be rehabbing, surgery, whatever is needed for her to get back. But we all wish Rhea Ripley the best and can't wait for her to come back as dominant and as vicious as ever before. So all the best to the Eradicator. But we have a lot to get into in the world of sports, and let's get started. Let's talk about the WNBA draft. And of course, no surprise, like you said, number one pick. The number one pick on the draft was, of course, Caitlin Clark. She went to the Indiana Fever, selected number one. But there were some great picks, even from me being biased. Chicago Sky got Camila Cardoso from Phoenix, pick from Phoenix from South Carolina. We also got Angel Reese as well in the first round. Aaliyah Edwards from UConn was taken by the Washington Mystics at pick number 6. There's a lot of great picks for these teams. Excuse me here. UConn also lost Nika Mule from UConn as well. Went to the Seattle Storm. Brianna Maxwell went to the Sky as well. From Gonzaga. Just a very interesting draft, but of course, like I said, the big story was, of course, Caitlin Clark, drafted number 1 as usual. But now her WNBA career officially begins. I saw the draft. I saw the draft itself, and it was great to see Caitlin Clark up there. We all knew she was going to go where she was going to go, but she's going to kick ass and take names. And I have a feeling the Indiana Fever is going to be a force to be reckoned with this year with her on board. Obviously, you can't just rely on one person like we always say, but she is the one true key component that can bring that team to superstardom. So
it's like what she did with Iowa. I mean, when she took the Hawkeyes, to those deep postseason or those post tournament runs to 2 championship games in the last 2 years against LSU and South Carolina, respectively, she took that program and put them on the map. And I think she's going to take Indiana, who was at the bottom of the league last year, and going to take them all the way to the top. But it's going to take, picks and signings in the offseason and team chemistry, to get the reps in and stuff like that. And, this is a really good thing for women's basketball because she is a huge star. And I would kind of equate her to like the female LeBron, just the name value that she brings to the sport of basketball, not just gender, but just to the sport itself, and just the name of her and the likeness of her. It's going to carry a huge weight for years to come in the WNBA.
I agree.
See,
I was going to say, I agree with you. Joey, go ahead.
I was going to say, and don't forget, I mean,
we definitely couldn't forget that. This is the sound of silence. But anyways,
Aaliyah Boston from South Carolina, who absolutely tore it up.
Yeah,
she was picked last year, I believe.
Yeah, she was the number 1 overall pick last year. So Clark and Boston could form a dynamic duo to help the Indiana Fever reach the promised land.
Yep, absolutely. Any others in the draft class you're looking at that you kind of do you see just ideas for the draft class? Obviously, I can name off everybody here, but
definitely Angel Reese. I mean, she is a dominant force down low.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, definitely Angel Reese, and the girl that went second from Stanford, I think her name was Cameron Brink.
Yep.
She has the opportunity to be a megastar down there, especially down there in the paint. Let's see, who was the other player that had the Chicago Sky picked last night in the first round?
Camila Cardoso.
That's it. That's a Camila Cardoso
from South Carolina.
That right there spells danger for anybody, including Clark and the Indiana Fever, knowing that Camila Cardoso and Angel Reese are going to be teaming up on the same team. That spells disaster because those were definitely 2 of the best women's players, other than Caitlin Clark, of course, in the college ranks last year.
Cardoso really bottled up Clark's game in the game that she had against UConn. I mean, she was flustered in that game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she did. I mean, Clark was still able to score 30 points, though, but Cardoso was able to get behind her girls, and, of course, they were able to guide South Carolina to the undefeated season and the national championship. So,
like I said,
see what happens.
Yeah, the Las Vegas Aces also got King Martin from Iowa as well.
Oh, that's a great pick for Las Vegas.
That is a great pick.
Yep. Third round picks. Let's see here. New York Liberty, Caitlin Davis went to there from USC. From Louisville, Kiki Jefferson went to the Minnesota Lynx. From Nebraska, Jazz Shelley went to the Phoenix Mercury. from Indiana University for the Hoosiers. Mackenzie Holmes went to the Seattle Storm. From UCLA, Charisma Osborne went to the Phoenix Mercury. So it's going to be interesting to see how the WNBA season plays out with especially a lot of dominant players, and we're going to see these teams really rise up. Chicago Sky, Indiana Fever, just all the great teams here. Washington Mystics look good.
There were 2 other second-round picks from the WNBA draft that really got me on the fact that actually both these players are going to the Aces, who will be joining Kate Martin, and that's Daisha Fair from Syracuse, and of course, once she gets healed from her injury, Elizabeth Kitley from Virginia Tech.
Yep,
those are 2 pretty big names as well. That'll be looking to make an impact.
Yep. Yeah, and it's gonna be interesting to see how the season plays out. Of course, the new season starts, I believe, at beginning of next year.
May 14th, actually.
Oh, May 14th it starts. Okay.
That's incredible because the draft just happened last night, and the season literally kicks off in a month.
Yep, May 14th. The first game that's going to be shown is going to be Caitlin Clark's debut as she leads the Indiana Fever up to Connecticut to take on the Connecticut Sun at 7:30.
All right. Check your local listings for any and all games coming up. Definitely check that out. Keeping in the basketball team, let's go ahead and move on to what? Oh, you got something to say, Joey?
No, I'm good.
No, I was gonna say let's move on to the other basketball, and that is of course NBA. Tonight the play-in games begin, and tonight we start off with 2 games tonight. The 2 Western Conference battles, and we lost Joey again.
Joey.exe has malfunctioned.
Marks from New Mexico. If you are watching the show right now, we are sorry that Joey Thornton is stealing your gimmick.
Marks, if I were you, I would sue Joey for legality reasons because the way he's dropping is the way you drop on a daily basis on Zoom, and if you sign away,
Joey's dropping harder than Justin Gaethje did with 1 second left in the main event. And we'll get into that in a little bit as well.
That's fantastic.
We'll get into that just a little bit, and the announcements that came with after that. But right now, let's get into the basketball talk. We got the Lakers taking on the Pelicans. The winner gets the number 7 seed. And then we got Golden State versus the Sacramento Kings. The loser of that game is eliminated.
So real quick here in the chat, Untamed Music says Lakers fans are saying, "Give me a quick death, not a slow, painful one."
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So that's interesting, because like the Lakers in their situation when they play New Orleans tonight, obviously if you're the Lakers, you want to win, to get in, obviously right away. But there's a huge but to this because if you do win, or even if New Orleans was to somehow, pull this off, they would have to play the Nuggets. And honestly, even though Denver is a number 2 seed, I do not want to play Denver because Denver is one of these teams. They don't care where the game is at. They are very comfortable in playing in anybody's, home arena, let alone their own.
Yeah, I can definitely attest to that because one thing that I am looking at as far as this NBA playoff picture is playoff experience. Now, yes, both the Lakers and Pelicans, mainly the Lakers, have playoff experience, but if they were to win this game tonight against the Pelicans and move on to face the Nuggets, I'm sorry, Lakers, but you guys are in trouble. Because the way that Denver just absolutely cruised to the NBA championship last year without barely breaking a sweat, that lets you know that Denver is a dangerous team. Because, think about it. Jokic, back there down there in the front court. Aaron Gordon also down there on the front court, and
Jamal Murray.
Let's not forget Jamal Murray in the backcourt. I mean, that is a deadly trio right there. And yes, I know Denver relies on all 5 of their starters, but those are the 3 main ones: Murray, Jokic, and Gordon. And
I would equate Jamal Murray to like he's like the Michael Anthony of basketball, because for those that don't know, Michael Anthony obviously was the bass player of Van Halen for both the prominent eras with Rolf and Hagar. And Michael Anthony not only was a great bass player in that band, but where he was more known for was them vocals. And that's like with Jamal Murray on the basketball court. Like, Jamal Murray is known not just for being a great point guard, but he has a very deadly outside and mid-range jump shot.
he does.
Yeah, I just don't expect Jamal Murray to be singing "Running with the Devil" anytime soon. But you know,
No, he'll be singing "Running with Running with Yoko" or Yoka.
if he's running with Yoko, I hate to hear her sing.
Bonsai.
Fuji song.
Oh,
But wrong bonsai.
my bad.
I was thinking
My
Yoko
bad.
Buddha. But no, seriously though, we got some good matchups here tonight. As far
Golden
as,
State and Sacramento as well.
yeah, we'll get into that in a second here, but I want to get your guys' predictions. Who do you got? The Lakers versus the Pelicans. Who's getting that number 7 seed?
You know, this is going to be a tough one to call because it's going to be hard to tell which one of these 2 teams shows up on either side. Now, keep in mind, these 2 teams just played each other in New Orleans this past Sunday, with the Lakers walking away with a 16-point win. Now, do I think history is going to repeat itself? It's possible, but I mean, this is the playoffs, and LeBron has been known to step it up come playoff time. Yes, it hasn't always given him an NBA championship, but it's given him his share. But then again, he's also lost his share, which, of course, that's a whole nother story for a whole nother day. But I can't believe I'm actually saying this, but I'm actually going to go with the Lakers tonight. I think LeBron and AD especially are going to step it up a little bit. And that's a lot to say about Anthony Davis.
I'm actually going to disagree with you, Joey. I'm going to go with New Orleans to win tonight and push this back to New Orleans, for the Lakers to have to win that game.
Yeah, I mean, if New Orleans wins, I'm not going to hate. But I think the X factor for tonight's game is going to be the guy who's really stepped it up all year long, and that is Austin Reeves of the Lakers. If he goes out and has a great game, which he has, he's really stepped up his game this past year. If he goes out and plays one of the best games of his life, I can see the Lakers winning tonight's game.
Absolutely. And last year, he was a critical piece to that team making it to the Western Conference Finals.
Sure was.
Because during that Golden State series, he was having multiple games where he was scoring at least 15, 20 points.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Well, Joey, I hate to say this, man. I really do. But you are
wrong.
Oh, my God.
I mean, I'll admit, like I said, if New Orleans wins tonight, I'm not going to hate. Because I actually want New Orleans to win. But I feel like my gut is telling me to pick the Lakers.
I'm gonna go with my boy Steven. I'm sorry, Joey, you're on an island. I'm going with the Pelicans to win this one. I just have this gut feeling that LeBron and company, despite Austin Reeves' best efforts and LeBron, I don't feel like the rest of the team. I don't feel like the rest of the team is gonna show out. I think Anthony Davis is gonna play Anthony Davis, but I don't know if he's. The problem is with Anthony Davis, as we always joke about, is him staying healthy. If he stays healthy throughout this game, they have a fighting chance, and they could win it. But
and that's the key thing too. If they win because he's healthy, they better hope and pray that they somehow get past Denver, because it's not going to be easy. We don't think neither one of these teams are going to get past Denver, because Denver is just too good. But
that was a
Absolutely
freaking
not.
juggernaut. There's no way in hell that.
there's no way.
And look, as much as I give the Pelicans a lot of respect. I really do the same with the Lakers. As much as we clown on LeBron and Anthony Davis, look, they're a good team. They really are. They're a good team. They have great players. LeBron, one of the greatest of all time. Anthony Davis, a big man who's shown out. Austin Reeves is really coming to his own on this team. You look at the roster; it's stacked. But look, these are not the Lakers. We're not talking about the Lakers from 2-3 years ago. We're talking about this is 2024 Lakers and 2024 Pelicans. To me,
and in the past, New Orleans has had LA's number.
yes, they have. But
Yeah,
obviously,
have.
but that doesn't really mean anything because any given day, any given time, a team could win. You could have a 10-game winning streak over the past 3-4 years, and then that one game in that streak you lose. So I'm not counting LA out by any stretch. I just have a feeling the Pelicans are going to take it. It's going to be a close game. Don't get me wrong, it really is. But I have this feeling that the Pelicans are going to take it, but it doesn't matter. Either team, Denver's going to stomp. Is it going to, as Roman Reigns would say, smash them and stack them and move on to the next round?
Exactly.
So, moving on to the next game, which is, of course, Golden State and the Sacramento Kings. The loser goes home.
Now, this is going to be a very exciting game because I can see this one game tonight being just like, being a dogfight, just like the entire series was last year, with the Kings having the number 3 seed and the Warriors having the 6th seed. Those two teams went back and forth the entire series, which led to an unbelievable Game 7 performance by Steph Curry, in which he scored 50 points in that game to guide the Warriors to the first round upset. Only this time, the Warriors are the one, or actually, you know what? Game 7 was in Sacramento last year, and tonight's game is in Sacramento, so who knows?
Golden State's the underdog considering they're the 10th seed and they have to win to stay alive.
Yeah, could we see history repeat itself? Maybe. But at the same time, as good as both of these teams are, it's going to really it's going to really feel different that one of them is going to be missing out on a possible deep run to the playoffs this year. Both the Warriors and the Kings are really great teams. Now, the Kings, they did take a step back this year in regards to where they were last year around this time, but that doesn't deny the fact that the Kings are still a great team, and they're going to be a threat. They just had some things to go wrong this year. They had some key injuries that really held them back. But I think that if everybody can come back next year and be the healthy, aggressive playing Kings that they have been or they were this past year, then they'll no doubt be a threat for years to come, I think.
Going on, William? How you doing, sir, down there in the chat?
Going on, William?
Hey, William. And here's the thing about Golden State, though. Golden State was a team a year or so ago was a champion. They were the most dominant team in the entire NBA. Now you look at them, it seems almost like they're, I won't say a shell of their former selves, but they're not what they used to be. They've dealt with their own rash of injuries. Steph Curry had trouble staying healthy. Klay Thompson, very similar situation. Draymond Green got suspended, twice this year?
Not just injuries, but also to add to that, too. They've dealt with drama off the court, on the court. This is not the same juggernaut that won 73 games in 2016, a team that won 4 NBA or in this case, they won 3 NBA championships in 4 years. And this is not the same team that, has won 4 championships, in the last 9 years. And this team is very beatable.
Yeah, this is not the formerly invincible Golden State Warriors that we knew with the Splash Brothers, Draymond on the boards. We got those guys there, but this is a totally different ballgame. This is a totally different team compared to what we're seeing. And this is something that Sacramento could take advantage of. If Sacramento plays the right ball, can stay healthy, can keep the momentum going, they have a chance of really shocking everybody and knocking Golden State out. But then again, Golden State does amazing in pressure situations. We've seen it before where Steph Curry can light up the 3-point line and freaking just rain threes like hell on earth. We've seen it before. When him and Clay get hot and Draymond is able to keep himself out of the bench and out of the locker room, then we're able to see really the Golden State Warriors of old, and we're able to see them dominate. It's going to be a tough call on this game. Like you said, Joey, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be to the final point or final few points. Whoever can make the best plays in those last few minutes is going to be the team that's going to move forward, and the other team's going to be sitting on their couches at home.
And the big thing is for Golden State is they cannot let Fox get off to a great and hot start. Just like the Kings, it's going to be difficult for Sacramento because Steph Curry's going to get Steph Curry points and he's going to do Steph Curry things. So it's going to be a hard thing to contend with for Sacramento. But they had the Warriors' numbers 3 times in the playoffs last year during the opening round. So this game is honestly hard to call because on one hand, I could see either one of these teams, winning tonight. If Sacramento obviously wins, they're in, and Golden State's out.
Well, in that case, I'll go ahead and give my prediction because, yes, this is going to be a dogfight, but ever since I first learned of this matchup, I knew who I was going to pick as my winner right away. Okay. Now, granted, like I said, the one thing that I'm really looking forward to this year is the amount of experience that each team has. And that is where an advantage will come into effect for the Warriors. So since the Warriors have more playoff experience, I'm picking the Warriors to win tonight. I think it's going to be close. I think Sacramento is going to be in it until the very end. But I think right there at the very end, the Warriors are going to do just enough to hold off the Kings and move on.
I think Golden State's got a chance to win this game. I think they're going to win this game. I think they're going to pull away, winning by 7. And William says here in the chat that this could be LeBron's last hurrah. Yes, it could be.
It could be. But then again, if his son gets drafted by an NBA squad, he'll want to go to that squad and play at least one more year.
Let's see. So Joey, you picked who?
I picked the Warriors.
Steven?
I picked Golden State by 7.
I got to figure out, do I be different or do I go with you guys? Let's see here. I know. Do I go with you guys?
Yeah.
LA Knight said yeah. So
yeah.
All right. I am gonna go with Golden State. I'm gonna go Golden State by 3.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Golden State by 3. It's gonna be a close matchup, but Splash Brothers once again prove why they are who they are. And Draymond only gets 1 technical foul.
That's really saying something there.
Oh, you had to throw a technical in there. Had to fit in there somewhere.
Oh, come on. You know Draymond's going to get a technical somewhere, even if they make it deep into the damn playoffs. You know that dude is either going to get himself ejected or he's going to get himself first, or he's going to get at least a freaking technical. Come on.
As your favorite quarterback, Aaron Rodgers, would say, relax.
He's kicked more people in the nuts than MJF.
This is true. This is true. Maybe if Aaron Rodgers goes on another darkness retreat, maybe Draymond Green should join him.
Dude, his back elbow makes Chris Jericho's Judas effect look like the Cobra.
That's wrong, but so true.
It's funny because it's true, as they say. But no, they're your those are your matchups for tonight, and then of course tomorrow. Tomorrow is the playing matchups for tomorrow. Let's get into the Eastern Conference. First game, of course, is going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern Time. ESPN, ESPN2. The Miami Heat, number 8 seed, taking on the number 7 seed, the Philadelphia 76ers.
Now, this is going to be a tough game to call.
Joel Embiid versus Jimmy Buckets.
This is going to be a tough game to call. Oh, I mean, the Heat went on that amazing run last year, making it all the way to the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yep.
But I don't know if it's going to be like that this year. Because the Heat, even though they were still able to make the playoffs, their team this year as compared to last year had a lot of people either being traded away or signing with other teams via free agency. And it just seems like Miami hasn't had the audacity or the determination to go far when it comes to the postseason this year. So, man. And as far as Philadelphia is concerned, I mean, they're finally starting to play better now that Embiid is back on the court. But I don't know. It just still seems like Philadelphia has some holes that need to be filled. If they want to make a run in the postseason.
Mm-hmm.
I got Miami winning this one.
You do? Okay. I'm going to go against Gray, and I'm going to go Philly.
I am actually going to have to disagree with you, Steven.
Oh!
I'm going Philly. I think Philly's going to win by 1.
Yeah, this. I mean, I've never seen Dave Grohl hasn't been ganged up this bad since his last meet and greet opportunity. He definitely needs somebody to be. He definitely needs someone to rescue him and bring him back to life. I'm on a roll today.
Hey, you're on a roll today.
Well, I look like a roll, but I digress.
Here's a guy.
Now here's a guy who looks like a bread roll. Good lord. Pop myself. Let's go to the next one, which is the Atlanta Falcons, number 10, taking on the number 9
Falcons.
Hawks.
Falcons.
Well, they both suck. Atlanta Falcons. They both suck. At least one's had more success than the other, and I'm definitely not talking about 28-3.
True.
I was gonna say, is Kirk Cousins on the basketball team too?
With the way Trae Young has played so far this year, he might as well be.
Yeah.
But yeah,
the Hawks. Yeah, the Hawks going up against the Bulls.
Hawks going up against the Bulls, baby. Number 10, number 9.
All right, so even though I do like Trae Young and I do like DeJounte Murray, I'm going with the Bulls.
Yes!
I'm going with the Bulls. I think the Bulls are going to do just enough to get the job done.
You know I'm going to Chicago. Come on. This is not even a fucking contest. I'm not saying it's not a contest in there. I'm just saying, honestly, I'm going to go for the home team. Come on. I'm biased.
Looks like Steven's a little puzzled with our picks here, which is why he ain't saying nothing.
Either that or he can't hear.
Actually, I can hear. Thank you very much. I am not picking the Hawks. They suck. They're going to lose.
So you're picking the Bulls?
Yes.
Good.
Okay.
About time you guys saw the light on that. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I guess we're not being kicked off the show anymore.
Yeah,
At least for this week.
So far you're doing pretty well.
For now.
And Joey, you should be used to an Atlanta team being eliminated from the playoffs.
Screw you for that. Screw you for that. I'm picking the Hawks now. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm still picking the Bulls, but still, screw you.
I had no choice on that one. That was like a layup for like Steph Curry or something, man. So, but yeah, those are your playing games. So obviously those matchups will be done over the next couple days, and next week we'll talk about the first round of the playoffs, and we'll get you caught up on all that.
You know, and one thing before we move on, I do want to touch upon this because to me, the Oklahoma City Thunder just might be the weakest number 1 seed in the Western Conference.
I agree.
1000%.
Just because you're the top seed in the West, that doesn't mean nothing to me because unless you've had proven success, like if Denver was a 5th or a 6th seed, I still think it could run the table.
Yeah, I can attest to that.
Yeah, because if you look right now, because if you look at number 1 seed, the Thunder, who would have thought that? And then you got of course Boston on the other side. You've got the Nuggets, and then you got the Knicks at number 2, which is interesting.
The Knicks have definitely made a quick surge ahead because I mean the downfall of Milwaukee. I mean that team is definitely has reached the bottom. I mean, just all the trials and tribulations they've gone through with Giannis being out and Damian Lillard dealing with his personal issues.
Real quick, speaking of Giannis, it was reported earlier today that Giannis will more than likely miss the first round. If they make it past that first round, Giannis will not play the first round more than likely, and there is a possibility he may miss the second round as well.
And there lies the problem. Milwaukee relies too much. Now, I get it. Whenever Milwaukee won the NBA championship back in 2021, beat the Suns in 6 games, they were playing a team game. But now, it just seems like they've evolved into a 2-player game. That, of course, being Giannis and Damian Lillard. Now, Chris Middleton does his best to try to get or stay in the equation, but the Bucks, seeing as how they're gonna more than likely gonna be without Giannis in this first round, that could spell trouble because they're taking on a team that actually used free agency and the trade deadline to really improve their chances. That, of course, being the Indiana Pacers. The Pacers, they've come a long way. And now that they got Tyrese Halliburton over there, and now that they got Pascal Siakam, who they were able to get at the trade deadline from the Raptors, knowing that the Bucks are more than likely going to be without Giannis in this series, I mean, it's going to spell trouble for the Bucks, but I do think they're still going to do enough to take at least a couple games. But if Giannis is going to be out, Damian Lillard, who Steven mentioned during the pre-show, is not really at a mental fortitude right now to be a team leader. So this could spell trouble for the Bucks. I mean,
and this probably will expose their roster because when you rely just on three people to be predominantly doing a lot of the scoring and all that type of stuff, that right there could lead to a lot of trouble compared to where they were 4 years ago when they won the title.
Exactly. So, I mean, if the Pacers come out and play like they're supposed to, I can see them knocking off the Bucks. And once again, and keep in mind that the head coach of the Milwaukee Bucks is someone who we know quite well for being an absolute choke artist in the playoffs. That, of course, is Doc Rivers.
Now, here's a guy who went from the commentary booth to coaching in a coaching booth and is going to choke it all away again.
I mean, literally, the Bucks had Adrian Griffin at the start of the season, and they went 30-13. But then all of a sudden, they fired him, bring in Doc Rivers, and what was their record for the last few or the last 39 games of the regular season? 19-20. They had a losing record over the last half of the season whenever they brought in Doc Rivers. Surprised they even won that many games.
Doc Rivers is something else. Don't know what, but he's something else.
Yeah, in the words of course, myself, whenever we were talking about NFL, Doc Rivers is a choke artist.
Yeah, he definitely is a choke artist. I know, and I agree. But outside of that, let's see real quick. Let's see what our friend Mr. Wojnarowski has to say as far as any other news for the week as far as that goes. Oh yeah, let's talk about the Olympics roster.
Oh yeah.
That was finalized. The Olympics, yeah, they're currently finalizing the roster right now.
I think I saw some saying that Kawhi Leonard is going to get the last roster spot for USA.
Yeah.
And I think LeBron and Steph are on the team, but of course you probably got it right there in front of you, Ezra. So what is the complete roster?
Well, the roster right now, it says it's currently being final. Like I said, they're going to formally announce the 11-man roster. To play to formally announce it, it's going to be LeBron, Steph Curry, Kevin Durant, Joel Embiid, Anthony Davis, Devin Booker, Anthony Edwards, Jason Tatum, Drew Holiday, Bam Adebayo, and Tyrese Halliburton.
You mean to tell me that the Toy Story plastic figurine Anthony Davis got a spot? Come on, man.
Yep, and Steve Kerr will be coaching, of course.
Ha, nice.
So, and like you said, there will be one spot open, and it looks like that spot will be taken by Kawhi Leonard. Other news, real quick. Rockets general manager Rafael Stone received a multi-year contract extension. So, the Suns' associate head coach Kevin Young will now be BYU's new head coach.
Oh, and let's not forget one of the biggest stories that just dropped earlier today. You actually happen to bring it up, Ezra, and that is the fact that former LA Clippers big man and former slam dunk champion Blake Griffin is calling it a career.
That's right. Blake Griffin announced his retirement. The former number one overall pick in 2009. He made second team All-NBA 3 times, third team All-NBA twice, won the 2011 Rookie of the Year award. Unfortunately, he did not win a championship, but he's regarded as one of the greatest dunkers of all time.
Yep, his performances in the slam dunk contest, especially when he jumped over a car, phenomenal.
Absolutely, man.
Yep.
And we wish Blake Griffin all the best in his retirement, and hopefully he enjoys it. Let's see here. Real quick, involving the NBA, of course, it's the draft, and Virginia Cavaliers guard Ryan Dunn, a potential first-round pick, is entering the NBA draft. He's a 6'8" with a 7'2" wingspan.
Wow.
He's one of the nation's most versatile defensive forces, according to Adrian Wojnarowski. The Sacramento Kings' top assistant head coach will officially become the top choice to be Brooklyn Nets' new head coach. That is Jody Fernandez.
Yep, I believe a deal is expected to be finalized within the next 24 hours.
Yep. Let's see here. Also, oh, here we go. What about this? The NBCA's NBA Coach of the Year award went to the Thunder's Mark Daigneault.
Wow.
Let's see where he is at as a head coach and where this team at is in 5 years. Because yet again, I am not impressed. Like, is the record nice? Sure, it is. It is a great record. But you need to give me consistency. I'm not going to crown you off of one really good season with a young coach and a young team. That's like Patrick Mahomes in the NFL. I mean, Patrick Mahomes during the 2018 season, was it a phenomenal season? Yes, it was. Absolutely. But what did we say as fans? Can you give me more years with consistency? And look what he's done in the last 6 years. 3 Super Bowls, 3 Super Bowl MVPs, 2 regular season MVPs, led the league in touchdowns in 2018, and I believe he led the league in touchdowns last year. Not this past season, but 2 years ago.
I mean, granted, the Oklahoma City Thunder have an entire round of draft picks literally over the next 5 years, seems like. So, who knows what can happen?
Yeah, absolutely. Also, some news for if you're an Alice Caruso fan, you're not going to like this, but Grayson Allen has been given a 4-year, $70 million contract.
Good for him. Good for him.
Let's see here. Really, checking through the news picks real quick, news stuff real quick. That's pretty much all I got. As far as any big news. In Kentucky is targeting BYU coach Mark Pope to be the school's next coach. That's why the one guy.
That deal hasn't been finalized. It's a 5-year deal.
Yep.
After John Calipari left to go coach the University of Arkansas.
He can lead that team to its legacy of failure.
Yeah, but Calipari seems like he's only been a one-and-done coach, though. So we'll see if he can actually guide Arkansas to the promised land, but let me be the first to say he's not going to.
No. Drew Holiday declined his $37.3 million player option and signed a 4-year, $135 million contract extension with the Celtics.
Wow.
Very good move for the Celtics. I mean, we talked about, when Marcus Smart, left the team in the offseason, we were thinking, oh, there goes their defense. There goes their defensive captain. Well, not only did you get a defensive captain in Drew Holiday, but he's a way better player than Marcus Smart as far as an overall player.
Oh, yeah.
And that's pretty much it on the world of the NBA. So,
real quick, there is a story that's been hitting at me the last several days, and it's as far as the world of MLB with Shohei Ohtani. I mean, his former interpreter stealing allegedly $16 million.
And I'm telling you, if you're a player that really brings, or should I say really breaks the bank like Shohei Ohtani has, for you to not really notice that $16 million has gone missing, that right there should spark red flags, in my opinion.
Well, the truth is about Shohei Ohtani is that, like even Hijacker said a few weeks ago, is that Ohtani's the type that money to him is not an option. Not because he's not rich or anything. It's because to him, he grew up with nothing. So to him, money to him is not the thing that drives him. It's about the sport itself. It's about the play. It's about the game. For him, it's about the heart of the game instead of worrying about dollars and cents. Hence why he probably didn't realize what his former interpreter was doing. Now that he knows, maybe he'll be a little bit wiser.
Yeah,
and not leaving that kind of money out on the freaking table. I mean, good Lord. I mean, leaving that kind of money out there, you're asking for disaster to happen.
Absolutely.
And granted, Otani is one of the few players that are out there that actually play professional sport that actually care about making an impact and not just about dollars and cents. So,
and I'm happy for him because he's not one of these players that got a big head and an ego up his ass. He's like, oh, I care about the game of baseball. I care about being a great player, and if I can make money on top of it, hey, do it. Might as well do it. But exactly. the fact that he doesn't think about money in the first place, I think that's awesome because not that many athletes across all 4 North American major sports think like that.
Not a chance.
Oh,
not in this day and age, at least.
Nope. Oh, some quick NBA news just came out. For tomorrow's play game, the Heat will be without Terry Rozier, who will be out with a neck issue.
Oh dang!
What's up, Randy? How you doing?
What's up, Randy?
And Joey, Randy wants to know, why are you sideways?
Who?
That's what Randy said. Those are not my words. Those are what Randy said.
I'm not sideways.
Not you, Joey.
Why am I sideways?
Oh, because the way you're sitting to the side, you're not sitting directly on. You like how we call him Sideways Joey. Take a play out of Sideways Chugs, like an up, down, down.
The words expressed by Randy Gardner are not responsible for the one of Stephen Wyand and Ezra Vickery and Joseph Thornton on our Nation Sports Show. Thank you very much.
They are expressed by Tom Brady.
Oh, we got you there, Randy.
Boom. Moving on, guys. We still got a lot to get into. We gotta let's go ahead and move forward and talk about the NFL draft coming up. Obviously we kind of got an idea on some people here. Of course, the big one, of course, is Caleb Williams possibly heading to Chicago, which is going to be the biggest headache Chicago has had since Jay Cutler.
So you mean not even going to include Justin Fields?
Justin Fields is fine. Compared to Jay Cutler, I'll take Justin Fields, who actually can run better than Cutler and doesn't throw 45 interceptions in a season.
True.
The guy can't even throw a loaf of bread in his car without somebody else taking it from him. The guy can't even play basketball with his kids without somebody stealing it from him.
It's because the Kevin Mutombo always blocks his shots.
Not today.
No.
No.
All right, let's talk about it. The NFL draft, of course, is, I believe, Thursday, correct?
Next week on the 25th,
yeah,
yes.
25th.
Next week on the 25th, on Thursday, will be the NFL draft. You guys know a little bit more about this. I'm going to let you guys lead the way. Obviously, I'm hard to keep track of everything all at once, but
I mean, it's a pretty clear shot that Williams is going to Chicago. But the big question that I have on, and Joey briefly touched upon this in the pre-show,
yeah,
and I want to get his thoughts on this, is Joey, who the hell do you think Washington is going to pick at quarterback? Because there's so many options they can pick.
Yeah, there are so many options. I mean, I've been hearing reports, I've been reading articles, I've been hearing rumors that we could be in the lines to get either Jaden Daniels from LSU, Drake May from the Tar Heels, and most recently, reports have suggested that we are actually looking into J.J. McCarthy from the Michigan Wolverines as well.
And it's so difficult, man, because all three of these quarterbacks last year had success.
They did. They did. I mean, J.J. McCarthy won. He won the freaking national championship.
But you're forgetting another one, Joey.
Oh, that's right, Michael Penix.
Penix.
Because word is going around that Adam Peters, who was our GM, has invited Daniels, May, McCarthy, and Penix to a visit, with all four of them coming in and meeting with the Commanders at the exact same time.
It is going to be an interesting.
Very interesting.
It is going to be a very interesting first round next week in the NFL draft, because I guarantee you all four of those quarterbacks will be off the board.
Oh, for sure. All four quarterbacks are going to be off the board by the time the first round's over. No question.
If you are Minnesota, you need to go after one of these kids.
I mean, Minnesota, they have been linked to possibly trading up in the draft to get Drake May, because they are apparently big fans of his, but Minnesota is going to have to do a lot of trading if they want to try to trade up. But as far as my prediction of who I think the Commanders are going to get, I've said it since day one, and I'm sticking with it. I want us to get Jaden Daniels, because yes, if we do get Jaden Daniels, everybody's going to say, oh, this is going to be another RG3 situation. That's possible, but I don't think it's going to be the case, because the Commanders have also been looking to upgrade their offensive line, which was definitely one of their weak spots this past year. I'll admit to that. But there's still some good offensive linemen that are still free agents right now looking for some new teams.
So real quick, to here in the chat, Randy says Jaden Daniels to the Raiders. And also Randy says, hell no, McCarthy won a tainted championship. He can't win knowing another team's plays, excuse me.
Well, then again, Randy, you do have a point there, which is why I'm still 100% dead set as to why Coach Jim Harbaugh left Michigan. Is because, hey, if I go and coach another team, they ain't gonna investigate me.
Nope. So basically, it's like Harbaugh just, he's like, all right, I'll leave, and then that way they can't come after me.
Exactly. But yeah, if the Commanders are smart, which I really hope they are, I want us to get Jaden Daniels. I really do.
But let me ask you this, Joey. If they get May, would you be happy with that?
Honestly, I won't. And the reason I say that is because whenever I look at the skill set that Drake May has, it makes me think of Sam Howell 2.0. It really does. And not just because of the fact that they're best friends, former college roommates, and fellow quarterbacks for the North Carolina Tar Heels. I see the skill set, I see the athleticism, and I see the playmaking that Drake May has, and it makes me think of Sam Howell. And yes, Sam Howell did some good things for us, but he also did a lot of bad things. And Drake May, to me, is not really a consistent player. Now, if the Commanders do wind up getting Drake May, do I hope that he proves me wrong? Absolutely. Because as a Commanders fan, I always want to make sure I pull for them because I am a fan of them, and I always want to wish them the best of luck. And I always want to give them the best amount of success possible. But I really do think that the Commanders are going to get Jaden Daniels. Now, that's just my prediction. But next Thursday night, it's coming around. Excuse me.
And real quick, also to add here to Randy here in the chat, he says they are on probation, obviously referring to Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. We outside of, I mean, obviously we're gonna be talking about the draft stuff, but there is a lot of news that was made this week outside of the draft. One of the biggest story, or one of the biggest news, is that the Miami Dolphins have taken on 5th-year options on Jalen Waddle, and Jalen Phillips.
Interesting.
They picked up their 5th-year options.
That is interesting.
Yep. Right here, big one. Justin Jefferson is not going to be present for the start of the Vikings voluntary offseason work programs. Same thing with CD Lamb. They're not going to be present.
Oh, CD Lamb in regards to CD Lamb, he needs to learn how to CD ball first before he can even think about showing up for minicamp.
And to talk a little bit of you mentioned we talk football. If this is the one story that has football and baseball combined, and that is that Rob Gronkowski threw out the first pitch at the Boston Red Sox game yesterday.
You mean he spiked it?
Yes, I was getting ready to say that he did it the only way he knows how, by spiking the ball into the ground. Also some news here. ESPN Films has greenlit a 30 for 30 doc on the late great Stuart Scott.
Oh, nice. You know we got to check that out.
That is a must watch.
That's definitely going to be a must watch. But in regards to Gronkowski, the only thing I can really say about him is the reason why he probably spiked the ball into the ground is because he's upset that USAA keeps denying him admission.
You're not a military vet, Gronk. What do you not understand, bro?
Well, I guess denial seems to had to go.
He needs to forget about it and go party at DJ's with Bully Ray. He needs to take care, brush his hair, and throw some napkins in the air.
Or maybe he needs to go back to WWE.
I mean, he does know how to take a fall.
True.
Eagles have announced a 3-year contract extension for Devontae Smith.
Ooh, good signing for Philadelphia.
Good signing. Good move there by the Eagles.
$51 million guaranteed.
Nice.
That's a much better move than the Eagles with Don Henley lip syncing. Oh, I'm sorry, wrong Eagles. Sorry, my bad.
Bruh.
Oh, man.
Bruh.
Well, maybe he was just too busy being fabulous. We don't know.
This could be true.
There definitely was a heartache that night for the Eagles fans.
Why you just said that? I can't tell you why.
Okay, let's just stop. We're losing people with these references. There's probably 2 people out of the 5 in there that know what we're talking about.
I'm like, huh? What are they talking about over here?
The Colts and 3-time Pro Bowl defensive tackle DeForest Buckner have agreed on a 2-year, $46 million contract extension.
Interesting.
Yep. Let's see here, real quick. Longtime NFL personnel executive Tom Gamble is returned to the NFL and is now a part of the Jacksonville Jaguars front office. Yep. Let's see here. The Raiders have signed former Chicago Bear Cody Whitehair.
Interesting.
Yep. Oh, I forgot about the draft coverage. They announced all the commentators and the reporters that'll be a part of it. So for the commentators for the draft this year will be Mike Greenberg,
Nice.
Mel Kiper Jr., Booger McFarland, Louis Riddick, Molly McGrath, and of course Adam Schefter. And then on the reporters side, for the Bears, it'll be Courtney Cronin. Jeff Darlington will be the reporter for the Vikings. For your Commanders, it'll be Kimberly A. Martin. Sal Panettone will be for the New York Giants.
Well, what about Steven's favorite team, the Panthers?
It's going to be nobody.
He's good.
Just to replicate the amount of people at the stadium, there's going to be nobody.
Nobody. Nobody.
Better yet, you can get either Chris Collinsworth or Tony Romo. How about that?
Dude, I haven't seen dude. Here's the thing about that building. It's gonna be. I've never seen a bowl more empty than on 420 when people are done smoking.
Oh, that's brutal.
Then again, to attend a Panthers game, you probably are smoking, but I digress.
This is true.
Finishing up the reporters here for the Patriots is going to be Mike Rice, and then Ed Werder will be the reporter for the Broncos. Those will be the reporters on location.
Interesting.
For the draft. Real quick, back to other news. Arizona State's next wide receivers coach, Heinz Ward.
Nice.
Yep, I actually happened to see that break just a couple days ago. I was like, big time move there for Arizona State.
Yeah, it's big to have a former legend. Here's some charitable news. On this program called Wish TV on WISH TV, in Indianapolis, Jim Irsay had a challenge for Chuck Pagano and Andrew Luck. They had these boards with faces on them. I think it's Jim Irsay's, and if they could knock down all the boards within 60 seconds, that Irsay would donate $1 million to a cancer research charity. Mission accomplished.
Nice.
They threw footballs and knocked down all the boards within 60 seconds, so $1 million is going to a cancer research charity.
Nice.
Oh, and let's talk about this. On Thursday of last week, Rashee Rice surrendered to the police after being involved in that hit and run on the highway that caused that major accident. Half a dozen vehicles. He's currently being charged with aggravated assault. He was driving 119 miles an hour.
Good Lord.
He surrendered to police on Thursday and is now awaiting charges and awaiting trial.
So now that we know what happened officially, what do you think his future with the NFL and especially with the Chiefs are going to be?
I don't know.
I honestly think he's going to get suspended for sure. Now, for how long, I'm not exactly sure, but seeing as how these could be some serious charges, I could definitely see maybe a year or at least a majority of the year. But as far as him getting released, I don't think the Chiefs would go that far yet, depending on how everything ends up with these charges and everything. But he's definitely going to get suspended. But the question is, for how long?
I think he's going to get suspended for at least 7 to 8 games.
Yeah, I think
I would say I'll probably say either 10 to 12 games, possibly a year.
I'll say a year. Real quick, also too. This I don't know why Adam Schefter's reporting this, but I guess because he was bored. But Adam Silver, president of the NBA, said that Jonte Porter is accused of committing what Adam is calling a cardinal sin, and that could be punishment that could go to banishment from the league. Don't know what that is. Don't know more details we're giving out, but that's all there is to know. And then, of course, we can't break away from football talk without, of course, mentioning the biggest news of the week, and that is the passing of O.J. Simpson. O.J. Succumbed to cancer at the age of 76 years old. Of course, the former football great, one of the greatest to play his position, but also known for being the trial with the slayings of the two women in '94. Obviously, it's a tough situation to talk about because obviously there's two sides. So there's the football great side, and then there's the side that he was accused of murder. The only thing I could say is to the family, we wish them the best, or we wish them the best, and send our condolences to them. That's all I'm gonna say about it because I don't want to get into the weeds on this. So we'll keep it at that. And let's move on. If you guys don't have any more football stuff that you want to talk about, you guys want to talk about the draft more? You guys have any more about that?
I think we hit on a lot of major things as far as, especially with the quarterback situation.
Okay. All right. Let's move on. Let's get into a little baseball talk. Obviously, baseball is up and going. MLB is really, really hitting on all cylinders. May 9th, I just want to say here for the White Sox, there is going to be a WWE night where they're going to be giving away special Southpaw, which is, of course, their mascot, WWE bobbleheads. And I'm hoping if I can get my pay time off here in the next day or so, I'm going to put in for the day, and I'm going to be probably cosplaying as Bray Wyatt while I'm there. So it'll be awesome to be there on WWE Night for the White Sox. But for instance, let's take a look at the stats right now. Not stats. Let's take a look at the standings right now for baseball. Right now, you look at the teams with the best record. I mean, obviously, the Yankees right now, 12-5.
Who would have thought that? Because to go from this team last year, not having the best of records and all the injuries, especially to Aaron Judge. I mean, just he was so good for them a couple years ago and reaching that milestone, for the AL, all-time, home run leader, for the AL that season in 22. And then last year, just that team hit rock bottom early on in the season. And they had this quick turnaround, including destroying the Astros to start out the season. I mean, that right there has to make you feel good, for your team, because for the last, several years, the Houston Astros have had the New York Yankees number.
Yeah, they've lost their last two, but they've been on a hell of a run. Baltimore's there. As far as the behind them in the AL East, only a game and a half behind them. Game and a half behind them is Boston. Well, actually, Boston's tied with Tampa Bay right now, but Boston has the tiebreaker at 9-8. In the AL Central, you have Cleveland right now. You have the Guardians right now, only a half game ahead of the Kansas City Royals right now. And only a game behind them is the Tigers at 10-7. Tight race going on in the AL Central. Obviously, still very early in the season. Speaking of ties, right now you've got the Texans and the Angels right now in the AL West. Both teams at the 500 record. Well, actually, both teams at 500 record, but the Texans have more games, so they're up ahead of the Angels. They're 99 compared to 8-8.
And it's going to be interesting to see how the Rangers do the rest of the season, considering they are the defending World Series champions. And we always talk about these teams that have these hangovers, in the Super Bowl and and all this type of stuff. But obviously in the World Series, even if you lose this, the World Series, or even if you win, sometimes the teams the next season come out, not with the best starts of all. Sometimes.
Yeah. Let's see here. Also, in the NL East, you have the Braves leading the NL East right now 2 games ahead of the Phillies and 2.5 games ahead of the Mets right now. Joey's Braves doing pretty well right now, 10-5. Won their last 2, so
Even though we have just recently just lost to Ozzy Albies to at least a few games because of a fracture. I want to say it's a fractured right big toe or something. So hopefully we won't struggle too much without him.
yeah. I mean, you guys do have a 2-game lead right now, which is pretty good. So as long as you guys keep the momentum, you guys should be fine. In the NL Central, you have the Brewers right now at up ahead, and then you got the Pittsburgh Pirates right behind them, and then only a half a game behind the Pirates are the Cubs, 10-6 right now.
Nice start for your Cubbies.
Absolutely, man. Cubs looking really, really good. Can't say the same about my White Sox, but I digress. My White Sox are the bottom of the absolute fucking barrel.
Huh.
My team is trash. You wonder why I'm getting tickets so cheap for WWE night on May 9th. But
So who's going to be in attendance?
I don't know if anybody WWE wise is gonna be in attendance. They're doing a WWE themed night though. So I might, if I go, I'll cosplay as Bray Wyatt.
Oh, nice.
I wouldn't mind showing up to the game all decked out in my Bray Wyatt gear.
Exactly.
Yep. And in the NL West, you have the Dodgers at 11-8 right now. Only a game behind them is the Padres, and then the Diamondbacks behind them, only a game behind them. So still pretty tight, and the Giants behind them, only a game. So you're looking at that. It's a pretty tight knit race in the NL West right now. Right now there's the Orioles are stomping the Twins 9-2 right now in the top of the 7th. Phillies are beating the Rockies 3-0. Giants are losing to the Marlins 3-2. Angels are beating the Rays right now 3-1. Guardians beating the Red Sox 3-1. Pirates beating the Mets 1-0. Tie game between the Yankees and the Blue Jays. 4-1 right now in the top of the 3rd. Padres beating the Brewers. Right now, the Braves and the Astros knotted up at 0. And then later on tonight, the Cubs and the D-backs, Reds and the Mariners, Cards and the A's, Dodgers and Nationals. And then earlier today, Texas Rangers lose to the Tigers 4-2, and the White Sox Royals game was postponed due to weather. So
let's see. Quick score update. 3:55 to go in the second quarter. The Lakers are on top of the Pelicans, 49-44.
Ooh, close game.
Ooh, close game.
Love it. We got to mention this real quick before we move on too. And that was news that dropped today that legendary Hall of Fame manager Whitney Herzog has passed away at the age of 92 years old.
Wow. Good
Yep.
long life.
Yep, won the World Series twice, 1969 and in 1982. First with the Mets as a farm system director, and the manager of the Cardinals in 82. So, imagine that team, reimagine your roster based on speed and power. So, definitely a big loss in the world of baseball today, losing Whitey Herzog at 92 years old. So, condolences to his family, friends, and fans. Anything else you guys want to talk about in the world of baseball before we hit the final topic of the night?
I think I'm good on that.
I'm good as far as baseball is concerned.
All right, the final topic of the night. UFC 300. And what a
Man,
main event we had between
I still can't get over Alex Pereira's performance against Jamal Hill. My God.
yeah, Jamal Hill, Alex Pereira in an amazing, amazing fight. But then the main event delivered in more ways than one. 1 second left in the round. Max Holloway delivers a thunderous shot to the jaw, knocking Justin Gaethje stiff onto face planting into the ground, winning the fight with a literal second left on the clock. And winning
That
the
is literally coming down to the wire. I mean, just drama. Just you never know where the fight's going to go, and that's what makes a great fight. Is when the fight can go either way with the competitors inside the octagon or in the boxing ring, and just momentum can swing just like that. Like you could be dominating a fight, and then in one fail move to turn momentum on your side, if you make a bad mistake, you can pay for it.
Yeah, exactly.
Crazy. The literally final seconds of the fight. Knockout.
Yep, they decided to stand in the middle and throw hands. And Justin Gaethje, unfortunately, made that mistake and got clipped. And that's all it took to take him out. Also, Zhang Wali defeated Yan Xiaonan in a 5-round unanimous decision fight for the women's strawweight championship.
Speaking of the women, I gotta bring this up. How about that UFC debut for Kayla Harrison? Holy cow, she made Holly Holm look sick in that octagon. Oh my gosh.
Yep, the Olympic gold medal judoka, very similar to a Ronda Rousey, came in there and dominated Holly Holm. Rear naked choke, 1 minute, 47 seconds in the second round to win the fight.
Ooh, man, oh man.
Just goes to show you how further mixed martial arts with women has came along within the last decade.
Yes. Also wanted to throw out the Alex Pereira fight was for the light heavyweight championship. That ended, of course, round 1 with 3:14 left. Also got to throw out there Armin Tsarukyan defeated Charles Oliveira. Split decision. Bo Nickal defeated Cody Brundage. Aljamain Sterling defeated Calvin Kattar in a unanimous decision on the pre-show. Jessica Andrade defeated Marina in a split decision. And Bobby the King Green defeated Jim Miller. And, of course, Cody Garbrandt, probably one of the most controversial fighters in the game. Because, of course, who he is and, what we don't talk about it, but his, I'm thinking of the wrong fighter. Never mind. But Cody Garbrandt's a beast, and he unfortunately lost that fight. But heavy card. But what came after the fights is what everybody's talking about.
Yeah, I was just about to bring this up.
UFC 303, June 29th, the return of the notorious Conor McGregor as he takes on former Bellator light heavyweight champion Michael Chandler.
That's going to be one hell of a fight.
Yes, it is.
Brewing for almost 3 years now. And it'll be Conor McGregor's first fight in 3.5 years after breaking his leg.
Wow.
Of course, it's going to take place, I believe, at the T-Mobile Arena in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Yep, you would be correct, sir.
Yep. And like I said, June 29th. And, of course, I'll be taking that day off so I can watch the fight and gorge myself.
If I'm a betting man, my man's on Chandler.
Really?
Yes.
I'm thinking about going McGregor.
I mean, think about it. I mean, McGregor,
is a
has he had
badass fighter,
wins?
but
Has
I
he
got
had wins in the last several years? Yeah, but he's had some very significant losses.
that is true.
And
But
he is coming off a long layoff too. I will say that much.
I mean, as of right now, and this may change in the days and weeks leading up to this fight, but I'm leaning towards McGregor right now.
I'm going. I gotta go with the notorious one. I gotta go with Connor. I gotta go. Connor. You know the trash talk and the promos.
Oh, it's going to be intense.
Are going to be legendary. So, real quick, one of the greatest Conor McGregor promos will always be when he was late to the press conference. He walks in and goes, "Sorry, I'm late. I just don't give a fuck."
Yes.
That crowd went nuts. And then, of course, talking about who's going to be the baddest fighter there. And Jeremy Little Heaven Stevens is on the panel, goes, "This motherfucker right here." And then all you hear is Conor goes, "Who the fuck is that guy?"
That's one of the greatest sound bites in MMA history.
Still used as a meme to this day. And I think that's about it. That's all I got. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we wrap it up?
Oh, I'm good. We covered it all and then some.
All right. Before we get there, I want to say a quick congratulations to one of my favorite wrestlers, and that is the bad boy, the good bad guy, one of the 4 founders of Bullet Club, my boy Tama Tonga, on his WWE debut last Friday on SmackDown. Long overdue. Former multi-time Never Openweight champ, former multi-time IWGP Tag champ, Never Openweight 6-man tag team champ. So glad to finally have the son of Haku, one of New Japan's strong arms, finally not only in WWE but a part of the Bloodline story. Can't wait for that. But let's do final thoughts. Joey.
First off, before I do get my final thoughts, going back to wrestling, there was a bit of sad news that came through. I believe it was like over the weekend or something, with WWE learning about the passing of former wrestler and the guy who took on Big Show in a sumo match back at WrestleMania 21, the one and only Akibono, has unfortunately passed away. So condolences and prayers go out to his family and his friends throughout this difficult time.
54 years old, former All Japan Triple Crown champion, one of the most prestigious titles in all of pro wrestling. So he's also one of the few pro wrestlers and sumo wrestlers to attain the rank of Yokozuna.
Yep, absolutely. But yeah, in regards to my final thoughts, seems like my computer hung on for the majority of the show, which is very thankful for that. Hopefully it'll keep going, but awesome job, guys, talking about the world of sports in regards to wrestling, UFC, basketball, baseball, football, the whole 9 yards. It happened. We covered it. We talked about it. Now let's get ready for some NBA playoff action. We got the Lakers and Pelicans taking place right now, with the Warriors and Kings coming up just afterwards. Then we got the games in the Eastern Conference tomorrow, and then the actual games start up this Saturday. Check your local listings and all your favorite channels to track your favorite teams as they go try to make a deep run in the playoffs. And as far as us, we'll be back next week to talk about more sports talk, including a final NFL draft preview leading up to the draft coming up next Thursday, starting on ESPN. Again, check your local listings. But until then, peace. I'm out.
All right, Joey. Steven, you know how to close it out, brother. Let's do it.
Oh, yes. What a great show with you guys, and covering anything and everything in the world of sports. And thank you to William and Randy Gyron down there in the chat. And it's always great having you guys joining us here in the chat. And for those that watch us on demand, thank you very much for joining us here tonight. And wouldn't be reminiscent if we didn't bring up last week's episode with the Oakland Athletics discussion. That was awesome having Mike and everybody on last week. And they were ranting and raving, and we were all just giving our thoughts on this whole situation with John Fisher and Dave Cavill, those corrupt owners and presidents respectively for that organization. And there's the Oakland Athletics fans are still fighting. They're still fighting an uphill battle, and hopefully they can somehow pull off a miracle and keep this team in Oakland. But I just don't see it happening because of Cavill and Fisher's ways. But if you haven't seen that episode, go and check it out last week. It's another great episode with those guys coming on and us talking about that topic last week. And looking forward to next week talking about the first round of the NBA playoffs just getting underway. And obviously, like you just said, Joey, our final preview for the NFL draft happening next week in Detroit Rock City. And looking forward to that. And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter at Owen_Sports Show, Facebook, and where we are live at YouTube. Both are at Our Nation Sports Show, and Instagram at ON Sports Show. And also don't forget to follow the Nation's Corner on Twitter at Nation's Corner, Facebook at Nation's Corner, and on YouTube at the Nation's Corner, where they are live on every Saturday, mostly at 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 Central, 4 p.m. Pacific. And don't forget to check out the guys and gals this weekend as they recap all the weeks and all the stories in the week of professional wrestling. And man, what a time to be alive as a wrestling fan, as a sports fan. Obviously, the UFL is still hot and heavy, and that their next week of games is happening this weekend. And there's just so much going on. It's hard to keep, cover everything in a 90-minute, show, nearly 2-hour episode every week. But we covered a lot today, and great show with you guys. Ezra, wrap us up, my friend.
Absolutely. Thank you to everybody for joining us tonight. We appreciate it. As always, we appreciate your guys' input, your ideas. We love you guys joining us in the show, as always, in the chat. Thank you to Randy. Thank you to William. Thank you to anybody who joins us in the chat, as always. We appreciate your support. And, of course, don't forget to follow our individual social medias, which are listed in the description of this video, as well as in the video itself. Don't forget to follow Tuesday Cosplay, Nation's Corner, and of course this show and all of our other individual adventures as well. So with that being said, for Kevin Rory, for Randy Gyron, for Joey Thorne, and for my boy Stephen Wyand, I am Mr. Vickery. We will see you right here next week with another great edition of our Nation Sports Show. Take care, everybody. Have a great week, and we will see you next time. Peace out.
Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up. Turn me up.